All right, this video is for 4th and 5th graders, a little fraction review. I wanted to go over a couple of things, try to make fractions as easy as possible for you because we're both jumping into fractions. When I say both grades. So 4th graders, 5th graders, we are jumping into fractions. A lot of you all get apprehensive or a little nervous when you hear the word fractions. I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible for you. Fractions really are not that hard, but there's some understanding, some familiarity that we need to have in order to make fractions easy. So we're going to start out with a fraction, and we all know what a fraction looks like. I'm going to start out with this one, which is 3/5. Okay, so we're just going to think about that fraction, 3/5. But before we can jump into 3/5, we have to know a little bit about what a fraction is, okay? And so when we look at 3/5, we have a top number and we have a bottom number. Now, this top number is what we call a numerator. I'm going to say that again, a numerator. Well, what is a numerator? That's a fancy word. All a numerator is when you have a numerator and it's the fraction, the top number, all it is how many pieces you have. So if you're talking about a pie, it's how many pieces of pie you actually have. If you're talking about candy bars, or a candy bar that's broken into pieces, how many pieces of the candy bar do you have? So whatever your fraction is, fraction of whatever it is, the top number is how many pieces you have that you own. Then we have what's called a fraction line. And I don't want to forget to tell you this later because this is important, but a fraction line also means divided by. So this is actually, this fraction line also means divided by. That's going to be important here in a little bit. We'll come back to that. Then we have our bottom number, the bottom number of the fraction. And our bottom number is called a denominator. I'll say that again, a denominator. That is the bottom number. Well, that's a big fancy word too. We already did numerator, that's how many pieces we have. What's the denominator? Well, the denominator is how many pieces make a whole. What does that mean, a whole? If you had the entire pie, or the entire candy bar, or the entire whatever it is that you broke into pieces, that's how many total pieces you need to make a whole, an entire one. So we have our numerator, which is 3, that's how many pieces we have, and then the denominator is 5, how many pieces we need to make a whole. Since we only have 3 out of 5, we have less than a whole. What does that mean? So we're going to jump over a screen and we're going to pretend that we're dealing with a Butterfinger bar, okay? So what I've done is I drew a Butterfinger bar. Can't you all tell? Yeah, looks great, doesn't it? All right. I see a couple of you all nodding. Yep, you all can see the Butterfinger. The rest of you all, just imagine. I get it. All right, so what we had 3/5, right? I'm going to write this over here. I forgot to do that earlier. So we had 3/5 of a candy bar. Now remember, the 5 is how many pieces it makes a whole. Now if you look up here, if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, don't worry about this one. This is going to be something else later. But we have 5 pieces. That's our whole Butterfinger bar, right? But we only have how many pieces? We only have 3. So I'm going to mark this. I'm going to pretend I'm coloring this in. There's 1, coloring it in 2, I'm coloring it in 3. So that is a picture of 3/5. We have 3 of them out of 5. Almost looks like a gas gauge sometimes. You might see a gas gauge that kind of looks like that. But that is 3/5. All right, Mr. Drake, that's great. What's that bottom one? That's just another Butterfinger bar. But I'm going to put a different amount on this one. I'm going to pretend that this Butterfinger bar has 4/5. Again, the top number, how many pieces do you have? 4. The bottom number, how many pieces do you need to make a whole? 5. And if we look, there's our 5 pieces, right? That's how many it takes to make a whole. But we only have 4 of them. So I'm going to color in 4 of them. So there's our 4/5. Okay? So this candy bar is 3/5, this candy bar is 4/5. What do you think we're going to do? Well, I want to know how many Butterfingers I have. So I got to put them together. What math operation is it when we put them together? I heard somebody in the back say addition. Yeah, so we're going to add these two up. And so I'm going to write down 3/5 for the top one, and I'm going to write down 4/5 for the bottom one, and I'm going to add them up. Now, when you add fractions or when you subtract fractions, your denominator has to stay the same. What do you mean? Well, if I was adding Cokes to Cokes, my total is going to be Cokes. Or if I have 24 Cokes and I give away 12 Cokes, I still have Cokes left. Same thing here. I have pieces of Butterfingers, and I'm adding pieces of Butterfingers. My answer is going to be pieces of Butterfingers. Now, when we're adding fractions, we have to keep the bottom number the same. The bottom number is how many make a whole. It takes 5 of them in this example to make a whole. So our bottom number is always still going to be 5ths in this problem because we need 5ths to make a whole Butterfinger. Now we look at the top number. These are the how many pieces do we have. How many pieces do I have in this one? 3. How many do I have in this one? 4. So how many total pieces of Butterfinger do I have? I have 7. So I have 7/5 Butterfingers. That doesn't even make sense, Mr. Drake. I don't even know what that means. It's okay. I told you I was going to make it easy. Remember earlier when I said that the fraction line also means divided by? Told you I was coming back to it. I'm coming back to it now. This fraction line still means divided by. It's still the 7, so we have 7 pieces. We have our 3 and our 4, our 7 pieces over 5 make a whole. So we have 7 over 5, right? And I said this means divided by, right? All right. 7 divided by 5. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to show you. Check this out. We have 7. We're going to divide it by 5. How many times will 5 fit into 7? Once. We put our 1 up here. 1 times 5 is 5. We subtract, and we're left with 2. I get it, Mr. Drake. It's 1 remainder 2 Butterfingers. What? No. I told you I was going to make it easy. What's this 2 mean? It's 2 pieces of Butterfinger that's left over. We had 5 of them. We had 5 of them that made a full Butterfinger. So I took out of this 7, I got rid of 5 of them. I'm left with 2. I have 2 pieces left over. 2 pieces I still have. So this remainder, or the number of pieces left over, we're going to bring it up here, and we're going to put it on top of our fraction. Because we have 1 whole Butterfinger with 2 pieces left over. 2 pieces left over out of what? Out of how many pieces do we need for a whole one? It's 5. So our answer is really 1 2/5 Butterfingers. Check it out. I'm going to show you. It's going to blow your mind. 1 2/5, right? Check this out. I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to bring it down to this one so that this becomes full. Is that a full bar? Yes. This is 1 full bar, right? Now remember, I moved this piece down here now, so this one's empty. So how many's really left? 2. 2 out of what? 5. It's the same thing. So anyway, I wanted you all to see that today. Tomorrow we'll go a little bit further. I know this was review for some of you all it's not. If you have any questions on your assignment, 4th graders, I think it's 4th graders on your assignment, 5th graders, if you have any questions on your quiz, let me know. I'll be glad to help you. Okay?